Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Remy from Do and Learn. So today we will learn to build classes and objects in Java programming. So let's get started. So let me create a new file first. Let me save it as example3.java. Okay. Now let me have a main class first. As I told you, Java programming is all about classes and objects. So we can have any number of classes, and at least one class should hold the main function. So that is mandatory. So that class will be the base class for you, and the class's name should be same as the program's name. So I will keep this class as my main class. Okay. And I will create a main function here. Fine. Let this be here. Now we will create another class where we will do all our calculations and so on. So let me create a class called as okay, let me put it as calc, something like calculation. Okay. Now let me have two simple variables here, a comma b, which are of integer types, or let me call this as number1, okay, number2, and let me have another variable called as sum. All three variables are of integer type. Now let me try to access these members. As you know that these number1, number2, and sum are of integer type, and they belong to the class called as calc. And if you want to access these members into your main function, which belongs to another class, then we need to create objects of this class called as calc in order to access the members. As we know that object-oriented programming is all about classes and objects, if you want to access any member or member function, or we call it as method of any class, then we need to create an object of that class in order to access them. That's how this security is built up in object-oriented programming. So let's create an object for this class first. So in order to create an object for this class, so the syntax what we follow is class name followed by the object name is equal to new class name. So what this line exactly does, so calc here is your class name and obj is a user-defined object name. So once you put this statement, a new object is created for this class, and this object is allowed to access this members. Without the help of this object, it is not possible to access the members of any class. So if you want to create an object for that class, the syntax what we follow is first we write the class name. Maybe I can put a comment here. So we have the class name followed by object name, which is again user defined, followed by equal to new class name, okay, followed by brackets. So you will know the advantage of creating objects sooner. So once we have created objects, then we can access the variables or members of any class with the help of that class's object. So my class's object is obj. So how do we access the members? Using dot operator. So obj dot, the first member, number1, I'll give a value of 100 to it. Then I want to access the second member, obj dot number2. Let me give a value of 200 to it. Now let me do a small calculation. So I will find obj dot sum is equal to obj dot number1 plus obj dot number2. Now I just want to print the sum and tell the user that this is the added value. So I just go for my println function. I will just put a statement. The sum of two numbers is. Now I will add the member name. So the member is object.sum. Okay. So hope it's clear. We'll try to execute this now. So Java C example3.java. So let me execute it. 3. Yeah, as we can see, the sum of two numbers is 300 is what the output we have. So moving to that program, just to explain what happens here. So So when I create an object, the memory is allocated for that object based on this class's members. So the class initially has got 3 members, all 3 are of integer types. So the object will be allotted memory based on these 3 integer types. So initially we access the first member and we give a value of 100 to it. Then we access a second member, we give a value of 200 to it, and then we add those 2 members and store it in the third variable, and we try to print it. So let's try to print this one or try to access something without the help of object and see what happens. So let me put it like number 1 is equal to 250, and let me compile and show to you what happens. So if you go to the compilation window, as you can see, it says that it cannot find that symbol. The main reason is that when we put number 1 or no1, which is actually a variable or a member, this member belongs to the class calc. So when you see this variable number 1, which is a member of class calc, so in order to access this, we always need an object of this class. So without the help of the object, we cannot access it. So that's why your compiler says that this variable is not found. So it cannot identify, it cannot refer this variable in the memory, because in its memory it doesn't have this variable number 1 alone. It has this variable number 1 attached to an object called as obj, which belongs to the class calc. So that's how. So when you want to access any members of a class, you need to create objects of that class, and with the help of that object you can access the members of the class. So that's it for today. Apart from this, we can have any number of classes. The only thing is that you have to create objects of those classes in order to access it. So in your next video, we will see members and member functions. So thank you for watching. If you like this video, please do share and comment, as well as subscribe for our channel for new updates. Thank you.